For every great revival to happen, it must be on the premise of love. As a matter of fact, every genuine revival is on the foundation of love. One of the most talked about words in the church today is revival, of which I believe we are in the dispensation of it. God is going to send us revival, but He's not going to send this revival to the nations. He's going to send this revival to the church in the nations. Don't get me wrong. There is an important distinction, because it is the revival in the church that will impact the nations of the world. There have been many prophecies that have gone on concerning revival, but the problem is that, as exciting as these prophecies may sound, they can be self-defeating, because just to say there's going to be revival tends to let people off the hook of their personal responsibility in relation to revival. There is a requirement as far as revival is concerned, and so revival will only happen when God's people meet God's requirement. Let me take that again. Revival will only happen when God's people meet God's requirement. There is a condition, there is a requirement. No amount of prayer, no amount of prophecy can bypass God's requirement. Revival will not take place automatically. It will come as God's people fulfill God's requirement. It is very evident that we can no longer just sit back and then wait for God to send us revival. And I believe that if we are going to see revival that our heart longs for, some issues needs to be addressed before we can see the revival that our heart yearns for. And one of these essential issues that needs to be addressed in our days is love. Love is very small but a very powerful or mighty word. Love is actually the central nature of God. And so for the church to respond to a dying world in a desperate need of revival, something life-changing must happen to us. Something deep in our heart must happen. We need a fresh encounter with genuine love. We need a fresh encounter with the love of God. We cannot impact a world if we talk about love without demonstrating it. And so the fear of God must return back to the church. The love of God must be shared abroad in our heart. We ought to demonstrate the love of God in the church and outside the church. I'm talking about the dying world. And so for us to be able to revive, for us to be able to impact our nations, cause a revival to be happening all around us, we need to be carriers of God's love.